Previously on Manic Media Dream.
It's like the 1995 to 2002 Halloween Blu-ray unboxing. For those of you who have been following my channel, you know that I have done the first 5 Halloween movies that were released by Shout Factory in like the special edition cases. Right now you can only get all 3 of these. So Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers, H20 20 Years Later, and then Halloween Resurrection. You can only get them in this package. Oh my god, literally all of the discs fell out. Fudge me, man. I am going to be doing H20 20 Years Later next. It's just going to be a continuation of this video. To be completely honest, H20 is my favorite movie of the Halloween franchise. Aside from probably like the first and second one, I just think the first 2 plus 3 as the, you know, like Halloween trilogy, if you will, is perfect. It's the most consistent story-wise and like gore-wise and Michael being a stalker-wise. So I really like H20 20 Years Later. And I'm so excited that I get to own it in this collection, which, you know, has like H20 Resurrection and then also The Curse of Michael Myers. So H20 was the first movie that I ever watched for like in the Halloween series. It was airing on TV, and to be completely honest, I didn't even know it was connected to a franchise because they were just marketing it as H20, and I was just like, okay, I don't know what that is. And then they're like 20 years later, and I'm like, okay, like my 8-year-old brain could not comprehend that sequels were a concept for horror movies, because I just thought everybody died in the first horror movie. But that was not the case. So I thought the backstory presented in H20 20 Years Later wasn't another movie, but just within that one movie was just a backstory they had given to a character named Laurie Strode. Like, I thought it was a self-contained movie. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Doesn't matter. So they released H20 20 Years Later as part of this box set. And by they, I mean Scream Factory, who I think are a subsidiary of Shout Factory, or a brand within a brand. They release these horror movies in like really high definition Blu-ray sets for like collectors, namely me. With H20 20 Years Later, this is what is going on with the Scream Factory / Shout Factory release. You sort of just have Michael with, you know, holding his iconic kitchen knife, and then there's just, is that a well? That is not a well. That is just the like a place for like the sign for the academy that Laurie Strode, spoilers, now works at. This movie, like, I think was such a smart decision to sort of revive interest in the Halloween franchise at the time. Like, it was near the end of the 90s when, like, you know, I think slasher flicks had recently been revived by the Scream franchise, and this movie followed suit, and it was actually very smart of them to do. Like, a lot of times I like talk to fans and they'll be like, oh my god, like H20, that was basically like a Scream movie. And they'll say it like an insult, and I'm like, babes, like Halloween continued to have a success literally because Scream revived the genre. Like, that's a good thing. It's good that H20 is like Scream, at least in my opinion, because it sort of brings it back to like the original Halloween, where, you know, people want like a gore fest, and what I really liked was H20 had that stalker element that Michael had been missing in some of the other sequels, where he was just like killing people left and right. Like, it's really satisfying to see them go back to their roots, where, you know, he's just like spying on people before actually like acting on something, or just toying with Laurie. Like, it sort of shows, you know, a deeper rooted manipulative like sinisterness to Michael Myers. So I really like that about this movie. What I also like is that it wraps up the trilogy very well. When I say trilogy, I know that there's like other sequels, etc., but if you think of it from a story point of view, Halloween's 1, 2, and then this one tell a complete story. So in that timeline, if you will, Jamie Lloyd doesn't actually exist. And in this movie, Jamie Lloyd doesn't exist either. She's like, you know, I think she was supposed to be in an earlier draft, but they removed that and just had it be 1, 2, and then 20 years later, and then it's this to wrap up the story, which I think was a great idea. And that's basically where they should have left it. But we're going to get into that with when I do the resurrection video. But yeah, H2O, like my favorite like finish to a Halloween movie or just like a horror movie in general. I think the way that they ended this movie was fantastic. Honestly, people should take notes. It was completely bad, but it was awesome. So yeah, I really, really like the ending. I really like the characters are easy to like. I like that Laurie has a son who, you know, she has to like protect from her past, and they just did a fantastic job with Laurie's character. Props to Jamie Lee Curtis. She really cared about the character because whatever they were throwing at her, she was delivering like nobody's business. Like sis 8, we love her. I've seen this one probably like 5 times. If it's airing on TV, if it's on Tubi, if I'm just like looking it up on YouTube and just like watching different clips. It also has Michelle Williams in it from Dawson's Creek and like a bunch of other cooler stuff. I just know from Dawson's Creek because I like grew up watching her. I'm just gonna read the back a little bit. Now, the headmistress of a private school, Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis, is still struggling with the horrifying 20-year-old memories of the maniacal killer. They love saying maniacal with this franchise because I literally read that in the back of the other one in a different video. The maniacal killer, Michael Myers, when he suddenly appears again with a vengeance. And this Halloween, Laurie's rebellious son, Josh Hartnett, 30 Days of Night, his girlfriend, Michelle Williams, Venom, of all the things you could have given her credit for, you gave her credit for Venom. It also has Michelle Williams in it from Dawson's Creek. And their friends will become Michael's newest victims unless Laurie can conquer her fears and put evil in its place once and for all. LL Cool J, NCIS Los Angeles, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, The Dark Knight Rises Inception, Nancy Stephens, Halloween, and Janet Leigh, Psycho, The Fog, also star. Fun fact, Janet Leigh, the screaming lady in the shower from Psycho, is Jamie Lee Curtis's mother. Wild. Both of them are scream queens, which is amazing. So this has 2 discs. The first disc is the 4K UHD as per usual. And there's audio commentary on there by the director and Jamie Lee Curtis. And then disc 2 is a regular Blu-ray, and then that has like a bunch of different interviews, including one with Malik Akkad, who is a producer, and I think he took over for his dad, Mustafa Akkad, as like the producers for the Halloween movies, because I'm pretty sure they own the rights to this, by the way, which is why these movies keep getting produced. So we're just gonna take out the actual Blu-ray case, and then I'm gonna open that up. Wow, look at that. None of the discs fell out. I'm literally so grateful. But yeah, so this is the Blu-ray, which has the original cover art, and then this is the 4K Ultra. I really like that they're so consistent with like having the Ultra have the new cover art and having the Blu-ray have the old cover art. And then I'm also just gonna pull up the old cover art because weirdly enough, as like old-fashioned as the cover is, I don't hate it. And I usually like don't hate old-fashioned covers. Like I really like the original Halloween cover and the Halloween 2 cover. It's the 4 and 5 one that I don't like. I even like Season of the Witch, but the new cover, not the old one. This one, however, is like the most 90s slasher film cover. Like you could literally swap this out with I Know What You Did Last Summer and leave everything the same and people would believe it. But it's the most 90s cover, but it's so nostalgic. And again, I'm super biased because it's the first Halloween movie I've watched, so this like cemented what to expect from a Halloween movie for me. What I really don't like is this, like this summer, terror won't be taking a vacation. Why the fudge was this movie released in the summer? Like what the actual F were they thinking? Especially if they're thinking of wrapping up the movie. Like they just release it on Halloween. It's literally in the branding. The back is completely the same. But yeah, this movie wraps up the Halloween franchise. As far as I'm concerned, like this trilogy, if you will, contains my favorite Halloween movies, which are 1 to like 1978, 1981, and then 1998, I believe. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a full story, it's a complete story, it's a consistent story. You don't have wild cults, you don't have like abandoned daughters, you just have, hey, here's a serial killer, he should have died, he somehow survived, this is the end of the story. We love it. And this is where they should have left it. But unfortunately, we are not that lucky. And in the follow-up video to this one, I am going to be looking at Halloween Resurrection. So keep tuned for that. Let me know what you thought of like H2O 20 years later as the final Halloween movie. Like, if it were Halloween 1, 2, and then that as Halloween 3, would you be satisfied with this as a franchise, or do you prefer a different timeline or a different order? To be completely honest, I'm going to do a video about this because I feel like it's a conversation starter for sure, because I feel like the Halloween movies are so, like, you know, choose your own adventure. This would probably be my favorite adventure, like 1, 2, and 7, I guess. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below how you like to watch the Halloween movies when you're rewatching. Like, comment, and subscribe as per usual. Got to do that, you know, YouTuber formality. And this video is going to be continued with part 3, which is going to wrap up this unboxing. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video, which is going to be up in a few days. So yeah, I will chat with you soon. Have a good one. Bye.